our democracy. For decades, Ghanaians have been programmed not to think for themselves. They have been deceived with the ideology of democracy, perceiving that because they can insult a leader on a radio or televised program, they are truly enjoying the benefits of democracy. Even when declarations such as "be citizens and not spectators" are made, they fizzle out immediately the power is attained. For what has been the response to citizens' reactions when issues have emerged with the current government? When Ghanaians asked for the then Honorable Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, to either resign or be sacked by the president, he was instead rewarded with another portfolio on 10th January 2023 as caretaker minister of the Ministry of Trade and Industry following the resignation of Alan Trematin. The message was loud and clear. Yentie obia, ana musu krano na yeyene mo. Number 7. The leadership competence conundrum. Most will attribute Ghana and indeed Africa's woes to failed leadership. And whilst that's a key component of why we are where we are, what is it about the leadership that has failed? Mostly we attribute this to incompetence on their part. But is competence really the issue? Is incompetence the cause of corruption? Is it incompetence when successive governments reward themselves with ex gratia payments, V8s, all manner of allowances, while 60% of citizens languish in poverty, barely able to afford a meal a day? Is it incompetence that causes our leaders to watch people die at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital's dialysis unit due to an unpaid bill of 4 million Ghana cedis? No. I hesitate to lay these behaviors and actions at the door of incompetence alone. Frankly, what masquerades as incompetence is a much more sinister and insidious problem which needs to be called by its name, the mindset of our leaders. 8. The Fourth Republic has not delivered. On 25th July 2023, we began this journey with an explosive lecture delivered by Yawin Saku. In that speech, he walked us through an evaluation of the performance of successive governments in the Fourth Republic. That discourse concluded that we had essentially failed. I do not propose to go over that ground. I would encourage you to read that lecture if you haven't already done so. I would, however, highlight a couple of evidential findings Yao presented. I quote, in Ghana, 68% of the population, 23 million people, belong to low-income families. On average, their total household income per day is only 11 euros. About 50% of these 11 euros a day is spent on food alone. All else must fit into what remains. Another stark statistic he shared relates to open defecation, which is at approximately 20%. Let me translate this in lay terms. Statistically, 1 in every 5 of you seated here today openly defecate. Whilst the lack of clean, hygienic, strategically located public conveniences is a key driver for this, open defecation is also symptomatic of a learned helplessness by citizens. In the UK, for many years, I had a neighbor who was a lover of cats. At one time, she had 13 of them. This gave me the opportunity to observe the cats. Firstly, the cats chose my garden as their public convenience. They preferred to do their dirty business away from their living environment. Secondly, when doing their business, they would dig the lawn and cover it up afterwards so that the feces would not be visible. Thirdly, if they noticed me watching them, they would move away and no longer do their business. Contrast this to our behavior in Ghana, where we openly urinate in gutters and by roadside and defecate in open spaces near where we live and sometimes near even where we cook our meals. Why would citizens be reduced to behaving as less than animals? If this does not demonstrate a failure of the Fourth Republic, what does? Pivoting off the above, my speech tonight makes the case that without a mindset revolution in Ghana, sustainable transformation will continue to elude us.